Now to the trial that is bringing the atrocities of the Holocaust back into focus. This 93-year-old former Nazi guard is standing trial this week for his role at the Auschwitz concentration camp. Oscar Groning told a German court that while he is quote-unquote morally guilty, he says he took no active role in the killings that left 300,000 people dead. At 21 years of age, this SS guard would tear through the luggage and belongings of death camp victims, confiscating their money, their jewelry, before they went on to the gas chambers. Prosecutors argue that Groning was an accessory to the mass murders he observed. Many Holocaust survivors have been attending this trial. Survivor Gene Klein was interned at Auschwitz the same year Groning was a guard. He was just 16 years of age. And Klein spoke with Gene Casares here at CNN and said that no matter his job at the camp, Groning should be held responsible for the innocent people killed in Auschwitz's gas chambers, including Klein's own father.
I first want to talk to you about this trial that's going on right now. How does it affect you?
You know, it is really personal for me because at the age of 16, I was shipped out to Auschwitz. Of course, we didn't know about this. We had no idea where we are going. And my father was killed there. And when I hear that an ex-SS soldier or officer is going to be tried, I really am very interested of how the outcome will be. My feeling is that people are saying, oh, he's 93 years old, you know, poor old man, what's going to happen to him? That's not the way to look at it as far as I'm concerned. This old man was 23 years old 70 years ago when he was part of the SS. He probably joined the SS as a volunteer. He knew that the SS was involved in mass killings in every country that the Nazis overran in Europe. And so just because he had a desk job and he wasn't one of those soldiers that threw the poison gas canisters into the gas chambers, it doesn't make any difference. He was part of this machinery that was put together very, very smartly and very efficiently to kill as many Jews as possible. And not just Jews, but other people also that they didn't think that they are good enough to live.
You arrived there in spring of 1944.
Correct.
That is exactly when he was there.
Exactly. My feeling is that this man could have been right there on the platform where the selections were going on. This is when officers were pointing to people. You go to the left and pointing to other people, go to right. Just with a flick of finger, you this way, you this way, which happened to my father and I. The next day, I got a hold of a Polish prisoner who has been in this place a couple of years, so he knows what's going on here. And I said to him, would you mind telling me how come my father went to the left and I went to the right? He says, come with me. Takes me outside. He says, look over there. There's a huge chimney spewing smoke and, you know, flames. And he says to me, your father is going up the chimney. My brain can't handle this. I was with my father yesterday. Now he's going up the chimney. And then he tells me exactly what this place is. This is Auschwitz-Birkenau, the biggest killing machine on the face of the earth.
So when someone says to you, what should the outcome of this trial be, guilty or not guilty, you say?
I would say definitely guilty. I'm not setting the sentence, but there is no way that you can be in the SS in the 40s and not be guilty of something terrible.
Your father is going up the chimney. Are you hearing his story here? He says absolutely should be guilty. Gene Klein was interned in Auschwitz for an entire year. He went on to discuss the day he was liberated by Russian soldiers and the Nazi engineer who risked his own life to sneak food into the prisoners.
He tells me I am a civilian engineer. I will be here for the next 2 weeks and to survey the roads, the future roads. I need somebody to help me with my equipment. And he just walks away from me. This is the first time in 6 months I've been alone. I've always been with hundreds of prisoners. I am on vacation. I don't have to go to slave labor. Next day, the first thing he says to me is this: I know what terrible situation you people are in. Again, I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, you are one of those people who put me in this situation. But the next thing out of his mouth is, I'm going to bring you back to hook up with your work party to march back to the camp a half hour early. When I'm pointing to a barracks in the woods, this is where the SS guards and the civilian German employees have their lunch. This is going to be way past lunchtime. Don't worry. Go to the far corner, look under the bench, piece of chicken, a piece of real bread, a piece of cheese, a little cup of milk, and I just thank him and thank him and thank him. Just because the Nazis are killing people, I can't possibly condemn all the Germans for being killers. This man took an extremely serious step to help another human being. If he would have been seen by an SS guard, he could have wound up in the same camp I was in. I credit this man for saving my life. And one morning we come out, and the first thing we see, the guards are gone from the machine gun towers. And a lot of the guards had their families in little bungalows outside the camp. So maybe they just picked up families and left. So very cautiously we are sneaking through the barracks to get a really good look at the only gate to the camp. There are no guards there. So we are sneaking up to the gate. We see a big heavy chain with a padlock locking the gate, but no human beings. We are locked into this camp. And then it's a real foggy morning, and we are just like looking out at this fog, and all of a sudden, like a mirage, there's a break in the fog, and we see two horses with one horseman coming closer and closer and closer. And all of a sudden, one of the Polish kids says, "Look at his hat, Red Star." Telling myself, I made it.
Wow, Gene Klein, thank you so much for spending some time with us for the interview. I can tell you a little bit more about him. He travels the world with his daughter, Jill, to discuss the power of human resilience. And he says the reason he's been so vocal about his experiences at Auschwitz is to remind young people that a Holocaust can happen again in their lifetime. And here's what he tells them. If you see prejudices about religion and ethnicity in your life, he says, don't stay quiet. We'll be right back.